CompTIA A Certification Exam Networking Questions. Question 1. An entry-level technician must select the option that best matches the stated requirement. Which characteristic best justifies selecting heat sink? Option A. It spreads thermal energy so airflow can remove it more effectively. Option B. It bridges short power failures and can signal an orderly shutdown before its battery is depleted. Option C. It matches the socket keying and memory controller requirements of the selected platform. Option D. It forms the temporary image used to place toner in the correct pattern. The correct answer is option A. It spreads thermal energy so airflow can remove it more effectively. In this context, heat sink moves heat away from a processor or other chip into a larger surface area for dissipation. A case fan moves air but cannot efficiently draw heat from a bare processor package without a thermal interface assembly. Processor temperatures remain within specification under load after correct installation. Question 2. Which choice names the control that encrypts Windows volumes to protect data when a device is lost or its drive is removed? Option A. Disable Y-5 protected setup. Option B. Multi-factor authentication. Option C. BitLocker. Option D. Encrypting file system. The correct answer is option C. BitLocker. The defining function is that the control encrypts Windows volumes to protect data when a device is lost or its drive is removed. It provides full volume protection that can integrate with hardware backed key storage. File compression reduces size but does not provide confidentiality. Question 3. A workstation becomes unstable immediately after one update, and the vendor documents the issue. Which procedure is the best fit? Option A. Reinstall the printer driver. Option B. Roll back the device driver. Option C. Clean boot. Option D. Uninstall the recent update. The correct answer is option D. Uninstall the recent update. The problem is addressed by a procedure that reverses a newly applied patch that introduced a confirmed compatibility problem. Removing the specific change restores the previous known -good software state while a corrected patch is prepared. The instability stops after rollback and the affected version no longer appears as installed. Stressed about your CompTIA exam? We can take CompTIA exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. After implementing Inspect Network Link Indicators, which observation most strongly confirms the intended operation? Option A. The system starts normally after the lead is attached to the documented header. Option B. The port and adapter LEDs show the expected link and activity state after the physical connection is corrected. Option C. The computer completes post with basic hardware and fails again only when the problematic component is reintroduced. Option D. New test pages leave the queue and print in the expected order. The correct answer is option B. The port and adapter LEDs show the expected link and activity state after the physical connection is corrected. Inspect Network Link Indicators checks whether the physical interface and connected port have established an Ethernet link. It quickly distinguishes a physical -layer problem from higher -level addressing or name-resolution issues. A successful hostname lookup cannot occur if no physical link exists. Question 5. How should the technician verify that Check Smart Health data is producing the required result? Option A. A connectivity stabilizes after one device receives a different valid address. Option B. The diagnostic flags failing attributes that justify immediate backup and drive replacement. Option C. The laptop begins receiving stable power with the verified supply or the test rules it out. Option D. The adapter remains connected after the updated driver is installed and the system is restarted. The correct answer is option B. The diagnostic flags failing attributes that justify immediate backup and drive replacement. Using Check Smart Health data is appropriate because it reviews drive self-monitoring indicators for signs of impending storage failure. It provides evidence about reallocated sectors, error counts, and other device health conditions. A display calibration utility cannot evaluate storage hardware reliability. Question 6. The technician must justify the selected approach using the stated requirement. Which consideration distinguishes Trojan from the alternatives? Option A. Turning off the feature reduces an unnecessary attack path related to simplified enrollment. Option B. It correlates events, detects suspicious patterns, and can isolate affected devices. Option C. It applies social engineering tactics through mobile messaging. Option D. It depends on deception and does not need to reproduce itself. The correct answer is option D. It depends on deception and does not need to reproduce itself. Trojan is relevant because it disguises malicious code as a legitimate or desirable program. A worm is defined by self-propagation across systems. Analysis shows the installed program performing hidden malicious actions unrelated to its advertised purpose. Question 7. Which role runs as an isolated operating system instance using hardware presented by a hypervisor? Option A, a virtualization guest. Option B, a virtual machine clone. Option C, Type 1 hypervisor. Option D, private cloud. The correct answer is option A, virtualization guest. This role runs as an isolated operating system instance using hardware presented by a hypervisor. It behaves like an independent computer while relying on resources assigned by the host. The host controls the physical hardware and is not the isolated workload being tested. Question 8. A workstation communicates with nearby devices but cannot reach any remote networks despite having a valid local address. Which option should be implemented? Option A, subnet mask. Option B, the DHCP reservation. Option C, default gateway. Option D, port forwarding. The correct answer is option C, default gateway. The scenario calls for a setting that identifies the router a host uses to reach destinations outside its local subnet. It provides the next -hop path for packets whose destinations are not local. The client reaches off-subnet systems after the correct router address is configured. Are you looking for CompTIA A exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access CompTIA A exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get CompTIA A exam answer key today. Question 9. A productivity program fails to open after several files were quarantined incorrectly, but user settings should be preserved. Which procedure most directly meets the stated need? Option A, restart the supporting service. Option B, repair the application installation. Option C, clear the print spooler queue. Option D, clean boot. The correct answer is option B, repair the application installation. The stated requirement depends on a procedure that restores missing or damaged program files without a complete uninstall when supported. The repair process validates and replaces required components with less disruption than a full reinstall. The program launches normally after its installation files are restored. Question 10. After using USB tethering, which result should the technician expect if the solution worked? Option A. The devices initiate the intended exchange when brought very close together. Option B. The revision created on one device appears on the other after both complete synchronization. Option C. The headphones appear as a paired audio device and play sound without a cable. Option D. The computer creates a network interface and reaches the internet through the connected phone. The correct answer is option D. The computer creates a network interface and reaches the internet through the connected phone. USB tethering shares a mobile device internet connection through a direct USB cable. It combines network sharing with a wired link that may also charge the mobile device. A Bluetooth connection offers lower throughput and is not the same as a direct USB network link. Question 11. Which finding best confirms that avoid technical jargon achieved its intended purpose? Option A. The user gives a clear answer that confirms or eliminates the proposed timeline. Option B. The user understands the dependency, the planned update time, and available temporary options. Option C. The request is declined or escalated according to policy while approved alternatives are explained. Option D. The user follows the instructions without needing definitions of technical abbreviations. The correct answer is option D. The user follows the instructions without needing definitions of technical abbreviations. The selected practice uses language the customer can understand without specialized terminology. Plain language reduces confusion and makes the user more likely to complete each step correctly. Unexplained acronyms may make the interaction faster for the technician but harder for the customer. Question 12. Which outcome provides the clearest evidence that SFC/Scano is operating correctly? Option A. The application reads the updated value after the change and required restart. Option B. The output contains only lines that match the search expression. Option C. The scan reports repaired integrity violations and the affected Windows functions operate normally. Option D. The displayed name matches the device record and network registration. The correct answer is option C. The scan reports repaired integrity violations and the affected Windows functions operate normally. The selected command verifies protected Windows system files and replaces corrupted copies when possible. It compares protected files with trusted component-store versions. A network trace cannot repair local protected system files. Question 13. A vendor procedure requires changing a specific documented system key that has no graphical setting. Which choice provides the required capability? Option A, Disk Utility. Option B, Registry Editor. Option C, System Configuration. Option D, Device Manager. The correct answer is option B, Registry Editor. The described need is met by a utility that views and modifies the hierarchical Windows configuration database. It provides direct access to registry keys and values when an authorized change is necessary. The application reads the updated value after the change and required restart. Question 14. A CPU temperature rises rapidly because the cooling assembly is missing from the processor. Which choice is most appropriate for this situation? Option A, heatsink. Option B, a trusted platform module. Option C, network interface card. Option D, laser printer fuser. The correct answer is option A, heatsink. The described need is met by a component that moves heat away from a processor or other chip into a larger surface area for dissipation. It spreads thermal energy so airflow can remove it more effectively. Processor temperatures remain within specification under load after correct installation. Question 15. A help desk analyst is evaluating the reason for a recommended choice. Which statement most accurately describes the advantage of container? Option A. It provides direct control of hardware resources and is common in dedicated virtualization hosts. Option B. It centralizes desktop images, management, and data while endpoints display remote sessions. Option C. It reduces overhead because each instance does not require a complete guest operating system. Option D. Its capacity limits the combined resources available to the virtual workloads. The correct answer is option C. It reduces overhead because each instance does not require a complete guest operating system. In this context, container packages an application and its dependencies while sharing the host operating-system kernel. A traditional virtual machine includes a separate guest operating system and consumes more resources. Multiple isolated application environments run while using the same host kernel. Question 16. A technician needs a utility that provides the modern interface for configuring accounts, devices, networking, privacy, updates, and system options. Which option should be selected? Option A, Windows Security. Option B, Windows Settings. Option C, Task Manager. Option D, Local Group Policy Editor. The correct answer is option B, Windows Settings. The required utility is one that provides the modern interface for configuring accounts, devices, networking, privacy, updates, and system options. It organizes common modern configuration tasks in one supported interface. Event Viewer reports logged events and is not the normal place to change these settings. Question 17. A technician needs a procedure that tests the local TCP/IP stack without requiring an active network connection. Which option should be selected? Option A, match speed in duplex settings. Option B, ping the loopback address. Option C, correct the firmware boot order. Option D, replace a swollen battery. The correct answer is option B, ping the loopback address. The required procedure is one that tests the local TCP/IP stack without requiring an active network connection. It isolates local protocol operation from cabling, switching, and routing. Pinging a remote server depends on many external components and cannot isolate the local stack. Question 18. Which metric would be used because it defines the maximum acceptable amount of data loss measured in time? Option A, asset tag. Option B, recovery time objective. Option C, data sanitization. Option D, recovery point objective. The correct answer is option D, recovery point objective. This metric defines the maximum acceptable amount of data loss measured in time. It determines how frequently data must be protected or replicated. Recovery time objective measures how long the service may remain unavailable. Stressed about your CompTIA A exam? We can take CompTIA A exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A user needs protection for one confidential folder rather than an entire drive. Which control should be used next? Option A, encrypting file system. Option B, antivirus software. Option C, user account control. Option D, endpoint detection and response. The correct answer is option A, encrypting file system. The problem is addressed by a control that encrypts selected files and folders for a Windows user account on supported volumes. It applies file-level encryption tied to authorized account credentials and certificates. Unauthorized local users cannot read the protected files even though other unencrypted data remains accessible. Question 20. A technician is comparing several technically plausible alternatives. Which reason best supports the technician choice of default gateway? Option A. It directs unicast traffic toward the appropriate port instead of repeating every frame everywhere. Option B. It supports neighbor discovery and local exchange without a router-assigned global prefix. Option C. It provides the next-hop path for packets whose destinations are not local. Option D. It reduces configuration errors by distributing addresses, masks, gateways, and name servers from a central scope. The correct answer is option C. It provides the next-hop path for packets whose destinations are not local. Default gateway identifies the router a host uses to reach destinations outside its local subnet. A subnet mask identifies local boundaries but does not specify where remote traffic should be sent. The client reaches off-subnet systems after the correct router address is configured. Question 21. A help desk analyst is evaluating the reason for a recommended choice. Which statement most accurately describes the advantage of docking station? Option A. It gives administrators consistent remote control over managed mobile endpoints. Option B. It transfers regulated power from the adapter into the system board in charging circuit. Option C. It reduces cable handling by presenting commonly used connectors in one place. Option D. It centralizes desktop peripherals and often supplies power through a single interface. The correct answer is option D. It centralizes desktop peripherals and often supplies power through a single interface. In this context, docking station expands a mobile computer with multiple ports, displays, networking, and power through one connection. A simple USB hub usually lacks the full display, network, and power-delivery capabilities required. All attached peripherals become available when the laptop is connected to the dock. Question 22. Which protocol would be used because it allows a user to interact with the graphical desktop of a remote Windows system? Option A, RDP. Option B, SMB. Option C, TCP. Option D, HTTPS. The correct answer is option A, RDP. This protocol allows a user to interact with the graphical desktop of a remote Windows system. It transmits the remote desktop experience while processing most applications on the target computer. SSH normally provides a command-line session rather than a full Windows desktop interface. Question 23. Which finding best confirms that Validate AI-generated guidance achieved its intended purpose? Option A. Every transfer is signed, timed, and matched to the uniquely identified item. Option B. Recovery succeeds with the full backup and the latest differential set. Option C. The final action matches approved vendor guidance and passes a controlled test before production use. Option D. The inventory contains the planned daily, weekly, and monthly generations according to policy. The correct answer is option C. The final action matches approved vendor guidance and passes a controlled test before production use. The selected practice checks automated recommendations against trusted documentation, policy, and observed system evidence. Verification reduces the risk of acting on inaccurate, outdated, or unsafe generated content. Treating generated text as authoritative without review can introduce technical and security errors. Question 24. A help desk analyst is evaluating the reason for a recommended choice. Which statement most accurately describes the advantage of de-escalate professionally? Option A. Professional de-escalation protects the interaction and keeps attention on achievable next actions. Option B. Consent respects privacy and ensures the user understands the remote interaction. Option C. License compliance reduces legal exposure and supports legitimate vendor use rights. Option D. Professional boundaries protect the technician, customer, and organization from legal and security risk. The correct answer is option A. Professional de-escalation protects the interaction and keeps attention on achievable next actions. In this context, de-escalate professionally uses a calm tone, boundaries, and solution-focused communication with an upset customer. Arguing or matching the customer volume is likely to worsen the conflict. The conversation returns to a manageable tone and the issue follows the correct support path. Question 25. After implementing DisplayPort, which observation most strongly confirms the intended operation? Option A. The array remains accessible after one drive is taken offline and reports a degraded state. Option B. Coolant circulation, fan operation, and load temperatures remain within manufacturer limits. Option C. The monitor receives the selected resolution and additional chain display appears when supported. Option D. A benchmark shows combined throughput from the striped drives. The correct answer is option C. The monitor receives the selected resolution and additional chain display appears when supported. DisplayPort transmits digital video and audio and commonly supports high-resolution computer displays in daisy chaining. It is designed for computer display applications and can carry several display streams on supported hardware. VGA carries analog video and does not provide the same digital multi-stream capability.